Welcome to NX Beyond. I am your host, Red, and with the imminent announcement of the new Nintendo console, whatever you want to call it, Super Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, the thing is going to be announced sooner rather than later. So I wanted to give my honest take on what the launch window of the console, hybrid, handheld, whatever you want to call it, what it'll actually be. And this is a realistic take. So if you think that I'm gonna just be putting out random games, no, these are games that exist, games that are out there, games that I expect to be there in the launch window, and maybe one game that doesn't technically exist, even though you and me both know it does exist. So first things first, I want to be clear. I want smart delivery from Nintendo. That means games that we already own will run and look better on the new hardware. That is the hope. So I'm not going to be bringing up too many games that came out on Switch as launch titles for the Super Nintendo Switch. I'm just not going to do that. So while this first game that I'm going to start with kind of feels like I'm doing exactly that, no, this is just the one because of reasons. Because it's launching in the year of the new hardware, it only makes sense to have a version completely tailor-made for the hardware. And I'm starting with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So while this game is confirmed for the Switch, and if there's smart delivery on the Switch, you know what I'm saying, where you get a game and it's getting, FPS boosted and auto HDR like what Xbox does with their legacy titles, if they manage to achieve that, you might be wondering, then what is the point of Metroid Prime 4, the Super Nintendo Switch version? And to that, I'll say it's launching in the year of the Super Nintendo Switch, so there should be a box with the new branding and everything for Nintendo's 2025 release. That's all I'm saying, because I get it. Like, if you bought the Switch version and then eventually you get a Super Nintendo Switch, you don't need to upgrade to the Super Nintendo Switch cart. It's like, yeah, I just play this one and it plays just like that version. That would be the hope. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to bring that up just because, well, one of the main features that I do want is for the titles that you've picked up recently to be, made better. And not even recently, just in the previous generation, which is Nintendo Switch. If you're playing it, if they're going with Switch 2, Super Nintendo Switch, anything Switch branding, continuing the legacy, yeah, I would hope that your legacy titles play better on the new thing. Microsoft showed that that is achievable, and so yeah, it's something that I want because I love that feature with my Xbox games. So the other obvious reason why I want Metroid Prime 4 Beyond to be a launch title for the Super Nintendo Switch is because the climate that we currently in with gaming is so wild. Now I ain't gonna sit and talk about the ignorant, the lames out there who have issues playing video games starring women, which is weird because, I mean, we've been doing this going back to Mario 2 playing as Peach, to Lara Croft, and of course, none other than Samus Aran. So I don't know if people gonna want to play this game because, oh, I gotta play as a girl. I don't know, but I know that Metroid needs all the help it can get when it comes to sales, and I feel tying it to brand new hardware can only help it. So I really do hope that there's a version of this game ready to go day one for that hardware. Like, I hope it's not something where Nintendo launches that game before the hardware comes out. I'd rather it be after, honestly, the hardware's out. Even if it's still going to be a dual release on Switch, Super Nintendo Switch, I would prefer that game to still have an actual rollout on Nintendo's future console, proper. So that hopefully the hype of new hardware, new toy, yeah, let me go and get this new thing. And Metroid is going to be a phenomenal game. So it's the perfect game to have right there as a launch title to get people who probably wouldn't play the series to actually be like, you know what? I want more than one thing, more than just Mario or da 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 da. I want another first party game. And so Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will be right there. And yeah, that's a huge reason why I want it to be on the next hardware, because I want the series to sell. I want the series to grow. I want more. I want us to go beyond Dread and, well, beyond. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my take on that. On to the next one. Number 9. Now, like I said, There's not going to be a lot of made up titles in this list. It's mostly going to be games that currently exist that I expect at launch. But I think you and me both know that this exists. The next 3D Mario game is coming to Nintendo's next hardware. That's not situation where it needs to be leaked or there needs to be rumors. We know what the Mario team does. We know it's been years since the last entry. We know for a fact Nintendo loves to launch new hardware with Mario games. So what better than a brand new 3D Mario game? After the hype and rollout for Mario Odyssey, everything they did with Jump Up Superstars, that going number one. I mean, the way they created an entire Mario zeitgeist around that game was, to me, the best rollout of any Nintendo game in their entire history. So I would love to see them top that and attach that kind of, brand power due to the fact that the Mario movie just came out. So here's the new game, but with that same kind of love and care that they gave the brand with Mario Odyssey. So I want to hear a new song and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Music videos, all kinds of stuff around that game, and to tie that all to new hardware is just genius in my opinion. So the next 3D Mario game, I expect that to be the first game we actually see. Period. Like the first thing we see. Yes, Mario. Not anything else. 100% expect it to be the first game you see presented by Nintendo when they're presenting the Super Nintendo Switch. The Switch 2 will be Mario, and I don't think that's, something crazy to say. Now, if you listen to my podcast and you're a patron, every single time I bring up this game, I gotta say what? Donkey Kong. Because for years now, I've been saying I want the Mario team, the 3D Mario team, to actually handle a 3D Donkey Kong game. And I've been saying this since Odyssey. Once I was rolling around with Mario in the 3D space, I'm like, this is literally what I be doing in Tropical Freeze. Like, please give me a Donkey Kong game in 3D. I want to stomp the floor, you know what I'm saying? And make moons come out. Well, stomp the floor, ground pound the floor, you know what I'm saying? And make moons come out and all kinds of stuff. Like, give me that. Give me a crossover game. Seeing them run around together in the Mario movie and seeing Donkey Kong get Mario power-ups like the Fire Flower, I was like, even more. Because it's been years already that there's been a running theme on this very show. So when the Mario movie came out and I saw them running around together, I'm like, even more. Like, I want that Mario Donkey Kong crossover adventure. We already got Donkey Kong Celebration and Odyssey. It's like, let's just make it happen already. I think it's long overdue, and I just want to see it actually occur. So, yeah, number 9, 3D Mario. It's happening. So, up next, number 8, Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Shadow was recently delayed, and I think that delay was also strategic. They probably could have moved it back to December, but they said, you know what, let's just throw it out right around Nintendo's hardware so we can get all the sales. PC, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, you know what I'm saying, cloud systems out there and services out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, they, I think, moved this game to where they moved it because they know what's coming around that time. And they've probably been developing the version for Nintendo hardware. We know this is what Ubisoft does. Ubisoft has always been there as a supporter of Nintendo's new hardware, so I expect the next Assassin's Creed game to be there. Now, number 6 and number 7 are going to have something in common. Let me start with number 7. It might give you a hint what number 6 is. But number 7, right around the time when Nintendo's going to be dropping new hardware, this massive IP-based game will be coming out. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, the game has already been confirmed to come out, a little bit after the initial release this December on Xbox and PC. It's going to be coming out after on PlayStation. I will not be surprised if this is a game that shows up right at launch. Literally at launch, not even launch window, right at launch for Nintendo's next hardware, right? And to me, that just makes perfect sense, right? You're going to put it on PlayStation, might as well drop it on Nintendo's new thing too. It's a single-player game. It's not a multiplayer game. So you want it to get all the sales it can possibly get. And I think this is the type of game that Nintendo fans would definitely eat up, you know what I'm saying, at launch. Because it's a different vibe FPS game. You know what I'm saying? Where Metroid is a FPA, that's a straight up FPS. You know, with cool puzzles and stuff like that too. So it's a nice, you know, variety you have right there. A nice group you have there. You got a 3D Mario. You got stuff like Assassin's Creed. Let's say, you know, again, that's launching right around the time the hardware launches. So it's like you haven't. It's not like, oh, you played it this year, and it's like coming out later on Nintendo hardware. Nah, you got all this stuff. They want to include in something like Indiana Jones. That's huge. That's huge. But it ain't bigger than this, because this right here is the only game that I'm putting even in the realm of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond when it comes to heightness for me. And that's Doom, The Dark Ages. Obviously, Bethesda dropped every single Doom game known to man on Nintendo Switch, so it only makes sense. This game has been confirmed to be coming out on everything other than Nintendo since it was revealed, and there's no reason why it wouldn't come out on Nintendo when the other ones did. I could see this game being ready to go around that time. Why not have it be something that comes day and date? No more, oh, we got to wait a little bit longer on the Nintendo side. It's like, nah, new hardware's coming out. We want these games ready to take advantage of that hardware. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft has been a great partner for Nintendo, with Minecraft being one of their, biggest games. For Nintendo, I mean, one of their biggest third-party games, especially in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So that partnership between them, I could see Nintendo comfortably giving them hardware and being like, yeah, Microsoft, get your games ready to go. Give development kits to Bethesda and all the other studios that's going to be popping up in this conversation when it comes to, reasons why you would give Microsoft development kits. There's an even bigger reason than Doom and obviously Indiana Jones, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But yeah, Doom, I definitely want to see that on Nintendo hardware. Why? Because, well, I play on the N and I play on the X. Now, I do got a PC also, but I want to play it on Nintendo hardware just because of motion controls. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'll be fun. I love playing Doom 2016 like that. Like, I played it on Xbox, and then I played it on, I played it on PC, then I played it on Xbox, then I played it on Switch, and I love those controls. But I've only played Eternal on Xbox. You know what I'm saying? So to play the new game on Xbox and like have it right here on Game Pass, and then also have a version on Switch that actually looks beautiful, you know what I'm saying, runs great, and then also has that added control to it. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to see Doom: The Dark Ages on the Super Nintendo Switch. Now, Tokyo Game Show just happened. A lot of people were wondering, that's it? Pixel Remaster, Final Fantasy? I mean, it's awesome to have the original, right? What is it, the original 6 games? Like, it's awesome to have those on Xbox now. Great. But, we looking for that. We looking for that. And of course, it's the console war nonsense. They want the big boys. And I understand that. But here's what I feel a lot of people don't understand, especially Xbox fans. If you're Square Enix and you finally got out of the clutches of Sony, you done dropped exclusives over there, they didn't work. You done seen Japan turn into Nintendo country. And then you sitting there like, what is Sony doing? Nah, this ain't it. We just dropped 14, is doing well online. That's awesome. Right? We just dropped 16. We done did multiple Final Fantasy 7 entries already. And shit ain't working. Numbers is down. You're looking at the other side and going, hold up, Capcom is going crazy over there. Dropping Resident Evil games consistently. Street Fighter's on fire. They doing a bunch of stuff. And they got Monster Hunter Wilds coming. Yes, Monster Hunter Wilds. You know that little game series. That little game series that really blew up with Nintendo when they made Monster Hunter Try, whatever you wanted to call it, on the Wii. So to expect no Monster Hunter game on new Nintendo hardware when there's a brand new Monster Hunter game announced and unannounced but pretty much confirmed new Nintendo hardware dropping all in the same year, come on now. That's a relationship made in heaven right there. No need to make a specific Nintendo version Monster Hunter game. You got that one right there. You know what I'm saying? Crossplay, everybody on any console playing together. That game is a generation-defining game for Capcom that can generate a ton of money. So the idea of having everybody playing together in one ecosystem, I mean, just makes sense. And again, the hardware that Nintendo is going to sell. The hardware that they specifically going to move in Japan. So it just makes sense to have this game on Nintendo's new hardware in Japan. Which brings me back. Yes, brings me back to, well, the number 4 game. It brings me back to Square. And Square is going to think the same. So they're going to say, yeah, Final Fantasy 14. Let's have a version of that for Nintendo's hardware. It just makes sense. We need to get on Nintendo hardware because in Japan, that's where players are buying games. They're not buying them on PlayStation 5. They're not even selling PlayStation 5 like that. And with Sony continuously upping and upping and upping the cost of the hardware, it's not like it's coming down so it's going to get better. You know what I'm saying? No, on the contrary, it's getting worse. So when Nintendo comes in with new hardware that people genuinely are going to be excited about, industry-wide, worldwide, it just makes sense to say, yeah, let's have Final Fantasy 14 on that, ready to go. You get a bunch of new players locked in early into, a MMO, a game where it's a service and you got to dedicate some time to it. Get players in quick, you know what I'm saying? So you think about it, new hardware, if one of the first games you play is that, you probably be, locked up in that, for the entirety of the generation, more than likely. Especially if you like Final Fantasy and haven't gotten around to those because they aren't on Nintendo hardware, but that's the hardware that you've had this whole last 7 years of Switch. Yeah, now you could jump into that. And then to have also Final Fantasy 16 launching on Nintendo's hardware and also on Xbox, but they're waiting for Nintendo's hardware to really get that buzz. Because launching these games, like, yeah, it was coming to Xbox. It's cool. But how much cooler would it be to be like, oh, yeah, it's coming to Nintendo's new hardware, revealed in Nintendo's new, presentation for their brand new Super Nintendo Switch hardware. That's a bigger deal, being attached to new hardware, than just being like, yeah, we dropping on Xbox. You could do the Xbox announcement right after that. Oh, it's also coming to Xbox on that date. That's it. Everybody wins. All gamers are happy. You know what I'm saying? And with 16, I also got to mention 7 Remake, Integrate. Yes, the full thing, and Rebirth. But I didn't want to make these separate to take up multiple slots. I just wanted to mention Final Fantasy is coming back home to Nintendo. And it's going to happen day one. You're going to see it. You're going to see the signs of it. Day one, you're like, oh, yeah, that's what Red was talking about. There you go. And you're going to see Cloud and all them pretty. Listen. Nintendo let them in Smash. So you already know what time it was. And before the Switch even came out, I said, you're going to play Final Fantasy 7. When it was, it's exclusive to PlayStation. I said, listen, they're going to bleed out over there, Square, keeping this deal going. And then they're going to put all that shit on Nintendo's hardware and Xbox. I said that literally when they announced Final Fantasy 7, day one. So I always expected that to be the case. And here we are. You know what I'm saying? Because, I could read the room, and I saw the direction that partnership was going in. I was like, Sony don't care about Japan. They fired everybody from Japan. So what makes you think that that's a good idea? You know what I'm saying? Where they showed how much they value Japan. Then they even changed the button on the controller, and Japan was mad and all that. Like, the actual action button got switched around to match the North American style. Some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the writing was on the wall there. So I saw it, and yeah, I expect that to all be 100% confirmed sooner rather than later. So remember when you saw Skyrim and all that in the original, Switch reveal? Just replace that with Monster Hunter Wilds, a Final Fantasy game and stuff like that. That's what you're going to see. Doom the Dark Ages. Don't be surprised. Like, they're going to have heavy hitters running right next to Mario and Metroid, and that's going to be great, and other things, because Nintendo, they're not going to only come with Mario and Metroid. No, they're going to come with more than that, and it's going to be amazing to see. What's the game that's going to be the equivalent of, Nintendo Land or Wii Sports? You know what I'm saying? Because for the Switch, it kind of felt like ARMS was that, where it was showing you, oh, look what the Joy-Cons could do, how the HD Rumble and all that could feel. So yeah, what's going to be that thing, the equivalent to that? Who knows, Will Mario Kart pop up day one? Who knows? But yeah, number 4 is basically 4 games. Final Fantasy 14, 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and Rebirth. So that's number 4. Now number 3, we're going to spin the block back to Microsoft. Nintendo signed that deal. 10-year agreement. They have to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo hardware. Did you see Black Ops 6 announced for Switch? Now, granted, if you're a Call of Duty fan and a Nintendo fan, then you know how it usually went. We found out about Call of Duty coming into Nintendo hardware literally around this time every year. around this time. The game's about to come out at the end of October. We will find out right around now. Someone will go to GameStop, grab the box, and be like, "Oh, look, I found the Wii version." Take a picture of the back of the case, and that's where you see the blurry screenshots, and be like, "Oh, well, confirmed it's coming." We haven't gotten nothing like that for the Switch, so I'm gonna expect that that's not the way this relationship is gonna play out. It's not gonna be like that. Not really excited to be here style relationship that Call of Duty had with Nintendo. Like, I don't want to say not excited, because there was moments where it felt like, oh, there was excitement in the air, and they came out with the headset for the Wii and stuff like that, but then they kind of died out. And then it came back with Black Ops 2, and them showing on Wii U, like, yo, you could do split screen, and you don't even got a split screen. Somebody could just be playing on the gamepad, you could be playing on the TV, online. Awesome, and that was great. But then with Ghost, it was just quiet. And then we haven't gotten the Call of Duty since. So I don't expect us to do the back of the box. Oh, shit, I guess it is coming to Switch this year, Black Ops 6. I don't expect that. I expect the contract to start rolling, the time on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the 10 years started yet. The 10 years starting on Nintendo's next hardware, day one, launch title. Like Black Ops 2 was, I expect Black Ops 6 to be a launch title on the Super Nintendo Switch. The Switch 2, whatever you call it, man, expect Call of Duty there, day one. You know what I'm saying? Day one. And with that, you know what that means, right? In a launch, if you're talking launch window, what is a launch window? When Nintendo, a lot of the times, it's like, honestly, a year. Which to me, a launch window should have been like 3 months. Back in the day, I used to always feel like that. But now I say I give it like 8 months, but let's just be generous and give it 12. You getting 2 Call of Duty games in the launch window. You're going to get Black Ops at launch, and then you're going to get the one that drops this time next year. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that is, Modern Warfare, whatever it is, yeah, that'll be available day one, crossplay with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Call of Duty will be on Nintendo in a real big way, and I'm excited about that as a fan of the series. And I can't wait for people to jump into the series, even if you don't even buy the game, even if you just be like, you know what, I'm just going to download Warzone, the free stuff. I want you to experience it so you can just see how much fun the Call of Duty IP actually has, how much crazy stuff goes down. Like, if you play Call of Duty right now with all the Halloween Michael Myers and you know, floating planets that you can control with shipment literally on top of that planet so you can play and have gunfights on. I know that might sound crazy if you don't understand what's going on, but yeah, it's crazy. And the zombie stuff, all of it, it's just mad fun. So I can't wait for Nintendo fans who haven't played a Call of Duty, let's say since Ghost, to get back into the series, because with Omni movement and all that stuff, it's gonna be like music to your ears, butter, man. The way it's gonna feel in your head, it's gonna be smooth. It's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can't wait for Call of Duty to come back to Nintendo hardware, as you could tell. Number two. At this point, they haven't showed it in so long. We seen it popped up like 4 years ago, 3 years ago on the Nintendo show. Come on, Hollow Knight. Come on, Silk Song. We saw it, 2 years ago at the Xbox show where they confirmed it was coming to Game Pass. And I was like, oh, awesome. Because I got Hollow Knight 1 on Switch. But I'm like, you coming in the Game Pass? Awesome. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't seen it since. And I think the reason is, it is going to launch in Game Pass. But it's almost like that Final Fantasy thing where we like, yeah, but we want to be catapulted by Nintendo's actual new hardware. So, yeah, we launching in Game Pass day one. You know what I'm saying? But it's also launching day one on Nintendo's new hardware, on the, current Switch right now, PlayStation 4. I don't know if they might even do PlayStation 5, Xbox One. I don't really care. My whole thing is, I know that they probably like, at this point, we waited so long, we might as well make this a thing, even if it's not a launch title, because we don't want to be around all the madness, even though, granted, you would be the madness around that time, because there's not a lot of people going to skip an awesome Metroidvania that they've been waiting on for years. But anyway, just it being around the launch window is going to be a big deal on the hardware. I could see them doing something like that. Like that'll actually make sense for the game, to give it that buzz, that, because people right now are, and I'm on this boat right now too, of like, yo, come on, man, I'm leaving the island. We was waiting too long. You never showed up. We out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's feeling like at this point, yo, it's been waiting forever. Like, I don't even have hype for it. Like, I just want it to come out. And when it's announced like it's coming out, maybe the hype will happen again. But the hype, like beating the original game, then waiting for this one, and then it taking so long, kind of, dwindle. But it with new hardware, yeah, it could bring it all back to life proper. You know what I'm saying? So Hollow Knight Silk Song, that's number 2. And number 1, I'm gonna go crazy with this one. What you thought? I was gonna play it safe? I'm gonna go crazy. Number one game launching 2025 day one on Nintendo hardware, and it's not even gonna run like absolute shit. I ain't saying it's gonna be 60 frames, but it probably ain't gonna be 60 frames on the PlayStation Pro neither. So Grand Theft Auto 6. I just said it, and I goddamn meant it. Grand Theft Auto. They done dropped plenty of them on the Switch. So why not? Why not drop Grand Theft Auto 6 on the Super Nintendo Switch? How awesome would that be? You know what was the coolest thing about the Switch? Was when we was coming into the generation, every single Nintendo fan, and not one will disagree with this statement, every single one had a chip on their shoulder when it came to third-party games. And then when we saw the success of the hardware, and then we seen the Wii successful, so we didn't expect, now I mean we're gonna get all kinds of stuff. But then you started seeing all kinds of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, here's the Arkham games, here's Skyrim, here's Doom games, here's Mortal Kombat, here's Fortnite, and it's like, yo, we not really missing out on too much right now. Nintendo really got the support of the industry in a way we didn't think they would get. So what I think is, with this being the best-selling hardware in the history of the medium, successor, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the successor to that, to the best-selling of all time. It's only right for Take-Two to be like, yeah, let's be there. Let's not miss that. Let's have a version for that hardware. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Even if it takes goddamn it being only a cloud version or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying I'm just saying they're gonna do whatever they need to do to get a version of Grand Theft Auto, more than likely, on that damn hardware. And I hope that is the case, because Nintendo definitely earned it. You know what I'm saying? With the way their software sold, other software sold, and just again with the hype of this being the next Switch hardware. If you make video games and you're making something new for 2025, why wouldn't you want to at least try to get that game on that new thing? It's Nintendo. It's new. You know, there's a lot of jadedness going around with gaming right now. People just feel like, yeah, like something's missing. What it is that we've been on the same Nintendo console for 7 years. And while Microsoft went to their new one and PlayStation went to their new one, right? You needed that other piece of the Triforce, basically, to make the generation feel whole. And that's Nintendo, I feel. That's the piece that's been missing. So I would love to see, all these games cross-play and all the Nintendo players being involved. I love the fact that I could be playing Rocket League or I could be playing Fortnite, which brings me now, because my list is done, smart upgrades. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely smart. Like I said, I want smart delivery. I didn't mention games like this, but these are going to be there day one. Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warframe, things like that, like Paladins, and all these service games that, come out on all kinds of hardware. Once new hardware is, there's a version for that, there's a version for that. I don't see a world where they got to re-release those. Even if they did, all your stuff is still going to be there on Fortnite and everything because it's tied to your account. But I could just see those games as being like, when you play it on this console, it's just, you download, because those are downloads. You're downloading one made for that development kit. So it's going to be a beautiful version of Fortnite, of a Warframe, of an Apex, you name it. The ongoing games like Minecraft. Yes, there's going to be pretty versions for Nintendo hardware. It's like, at literally at the start of the generation, you're going to have those. And I can also do a little portion where, you could throw in games like MLB The Show 25, FC 25, Madden, what are they up to, 25, 26? I don't know. The point is, whatever are the latest sports games, those will probably, be sprinkled around there too. But as you can see from this library, I'm going to go through it again. I said Metroid Prime 4, Beyond, 3D Mario game, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Indiana Jones, Doom the Dark Ages, Monster Hunter Wilds, Final Fantasy 14, 16, 7 Remake, Integrate, yes, the full thing, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Hollow Knight Silksong, GTA 6, and then again the stuff like Minecraft, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warframes, and the sports games like MLB The Show 25, and FC and Madden and all that. That's an incredible library for a launch window. And we don't even know the indie games that'll be coming to the thing. We don't know if Shinen will have a new game ready to go, because Shinen always shows up with new Nintendo hardware. look, I get it. A lot of people don't think that this new hardware is going to be super innovative. They just think it's just going to be, iterative, like, it's more of the same. I think that there's going to be innovation there, from the OS to features within that OS, applications that are maybe tailor made for being on the go. You know what I'm saying? Like a Street Pass, stuff like that. I don't know what Nintendo's going to do, but I believe that they're going to do a lot more than what they did with the Switch when it comes to OS level things. And those things can change up the way you play. Because even something like Quick Resume on Xbox Series consoles changes up the way I play, So there's things that they can do on a console OS level that can make that hardware instantly super special, instantly something that every gamer feels that they want. So I'm not sitting there thinking that there's not going to be no Nintendo-ness to this. I've seen plenty of rumors. I've seen the rumors popped up again of scroll wheels and stuff like that. And I remember rumors like that back in the day for the damn Revolution, which would turn out to be the Wii, and that would not be part of it. Then I remember scroll wheel rumors for the Wii U, you know what I'm saying? Which, yeah, that didn't happen. Then I heard the rumors for the NX, which was the Switch, and it didn't happen. So I'm not really putting too much faith on any of these rumors, but I do believe that there'll be innovative things there that will probably make a lot of these games too also special on that hardware, or even intriguing, if not special. Like, oh yeah, I want to see how it feels with that. Maybe it's a upgraded version of HD Rumble that even goes, past whatever Sony's doing with their controller. Like this is the latest technology, and there's a lot, man. Like I want, better analog sticks because I don't want drift. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the hardware also. But when I put a list together like this of software that could be there day one, and remember, this is a tame list. If you want to go crazy, like you could really sit there and look at there's probably easily 300 games that we know that exist from seeing all these shows in the last 2 years that haven't even released yet. Those games could be releasing on this thing. So I'm not worried about, launch window and not having stuff to play. You're going to have stuff to play. And when it comes to Nintendo, I literally mentioned the game that they already announced and one that is guaranteed. You know how many surprises and things that we don't know will probably show up? It's nothing more special than going into new Nintendo hardware, because it's like, what is it going to mean for gameplay? Rumble, analog stick, shoulder buttons, extra face buttons, motion controls, touchscreens, 3D. Like, what is it going to mean for gaming? That's already exciting. But when they coming off of being the most successful hardware of all time, with the best, first party selling library of all time for any hardware, and then having great third party support, as a Nintendo fan, you can't help but when you sit and think about it, get chills and be like, this is about to be the most special shit we ever see. And no matter what direction it go, it's going to be incredible. Because if it goes bad, it's going to be like, how did we get here? If it goes good, it's going to be like, expected, yeah, building off of what came before. But again, if it goes bad, let me just lean into that real quick. A lot of the times when things go bad for Nintendo, a lot of greatness comes out of that. So I ain't even worried about that either. Like, I know there's fear there, and there should be, right? Because there isn't going to be a handheld for Nintendo to, say, okay, yeah, the home console failed. We got the handheld, though, killing it. Every time there was a flop hardware, they had that little handheld doing this thing with its Pokemon games and its Mario and Zelda games. You know what I'm saying? Like, doing this thing. Fire Emblem games, all kinds of support. It was a real Nintendo console. So if one failed, the other one picked up the slack. They don't got that now, so it's a little bit scarier. But am I scared going into this generation as a Nintendo fan? Hell no. Because of the great games that they've made and continue to make. You know what I'm saying? Like, playing Echoes of Wisdom, it's like, they got it, bro. Like, going from Tears to Echoes, going from Odyssey to, Bowser's Fury, and it's just like, yo, they just hitting every single check mark so good, you know what I mean? And then the support that they've been getting, from third parties, indies and stuff like that. They're always putting on indie shows and things like that. I can only imagine it's gonna be a beautiful eShop day one. And by the time the first year rolls around, we'll probably already be having conversations like, this is going to be the best Nintendo hardware ever, right? Because that first year was fire. Like, remember the first year, 2017, of the Switch? Like, Odyssey was there, Splatoon was there, Mario Kart Deluxe was there, which will go on to become the Booster Course version, which is the best Mario Kart game ever, But then you had Zelda there, It was a lot. You had Xenoblade there. Like, who would have thought you would have got a Xenoblade that fast? And then you got multiple ones this generation. So good, so good. Kirby's do a new game. You don't know. It's gonna be a lot. But anyway, my point is, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. And if you want to make a top 10 list of what games you think you'll see there in the launch window that are different from mine, do your thing. This was my list. I would love to see yours. And yeah, that's going to do it for this one. I just want to give a quick shout out to each and every one of my patrons who've been rocking with me for 400 episodes, man. I appreciate y'all, and we're going to keep it going. Until the next one, peace.